Now that we have exported our file as a PDF, we're going to open that up. So I'm going to right click and choose Open with Annotate with Kami. So you can't double click it. You want to right click and choose Open with Kami. And as long as you have that extension installed, it should open up just fine. Now that we have our drawing open, let's go back to the assignment and take a look at what the options are for us. We could either draw the electrical plan in for the full bathroom, the kitchen and half bath, the 3 bedrooms and closets, or the living room and hallways. So you can see again, there's example picture. And the reason I've kind of subdivided it that way is because there are a few more things in a full bathroom that you might not necessarily see in some of these others. That's why it is by itself. And this picture shows some good examples of how you might have a 3-way switch, like here in the hallway. If you're entering the hallway, you might want to turn the light on, but then when you're right by the bedrooms, you might want to be able to turn the light off or back on again. So this gives you some examples of where you might want to use 3-way switches. Here's another one for the living room lights. You can turn it on and off from either direction. Here's one for the kitchen in here, and one for the dining area in here. There's 3-way switches for both those, so you can turn them off and on in either location. There's only a single switch for the laundry. There's a single switch for this bathroom light. There's a fan here. That's what the F means, an exhaust fan. We have a ceiling fan and so on. But there's one thing that's kind of interesting here, and they are switching these outlets, which is really kind of an odd thing. Typically, you would not switch every single outlet. You may have one outlet that is switched, but the rest of them should remain hot or active at all times. So that is very atypical and something I would not recommend at all. So this one just has a single switch to the fan light and a single switch to the fan. That's SF, would stand for fan. So those are different ways that you can annotate that. And then all of these little double dash with circles on it represent the outlets or the receptacles. And then the overhead lights are just these circles with this crosshair in it. So that's what you're going to create in your drawing. So let me go up to mine. And let's say I want to do my full bathroom. So I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to go to 200%. And I'm going to scroll over to here. I'm actually going to go a little bit more. The closer I get into this, the easier this thing is going to be. So I know that I need to put a switch right here. So I'm going to click the text box. And I'm going to do my switches and receptacles in red. So I'm going to click that and I'm going to just type in an S. And now I can rotate this. If I don't do anything else, but I just go up here and click on rotate, then I can rotate that along the wall just like it is in that drawing where it's kind of lined up with that wall. So I want to switch there. And now I want to draw that switch to an overhead light right in the middle of this room. So I'm going to go to my shapes tool and I'm going to click on this ellipse. And for my overhead lights, I'm going to just choose a different color. So I'm going to choose green for my overhead lights just to mix this up a little bit. So I have a little circle right here. And you may choose to reduce the thickness of that so it shows up a little bit easier. If I click select and I choose this thing, then I can actually reduce the thickness of that. Now, what you also may find is that if you click the bubble on this, it will enlarge. There's a minimum size for a circle once you click on one of these blue circles. So your overhead lights are going to look fairly large if you do that, which is totally fine. So I have an overhead light here, which I have to have. And now I'm going to draw that line to connect it. So I'm going to do all my electrical lines. I'm just going to choose light blue. So you notice back in the assignment, there's all these dashed lines, and they're always curved. Electrical lines are always shown as curved in floor plan drawings because they don't want you to accidentally mistake that for anything else. So we're going to just draw a curved line, and I'm going to try to make it dashed. So I'm going to do my best at that. I'm going to make a line dash, just click a lot of times, kind of dash that over to there. So that shows I have an electrical line there. Now, if I go ahead and make another switch, I'm going to just type a capital S. I'm going to rotate that around. I'm going to drag that to the wall. I know that I also need to have a fan in my bathroom, so I'm going to make that a rectangle. I'm just going to keep that green, and I'm going to put an overhead fan in here. In order to make sure that we know it's a fan, I'm just going to put an F in there so I know that that little rectangle is a fan. And in your Schoology lesson, you're going to see that here is the electrical legend. So in case you forget, circle is light, square with an F is fan. You can put a ceiling fan in. You can put an electrical panel outside your house if you want, just be a little rectangle in an annotation. And then the outlets are shown here with switches. So let's go back into this. So I have my fan. I have a switch. I'm going to draw my line into that one. So I'm going to do my best to make a sort of a curved line going right to there. I also would like to have a couple lights over the top of my bathroom cabinets. So I'm going to do one more, and I'm going to put that one in right here and rotate that around. And then I'm going to draw in a couple shapes that are, again, that are green, but I'm going to show these a little, whoops, that is a square. So let me undo that. I'm going to go back to ellipse. I'm going to try to draw this as like a light bar where there might be just one light over the top of each one of these, or a couple light bulbs that sort of make up what they call a light bar. And then I'll go to the drawing tool and go to blue. And for this one, I'm going to make a little curve to that, and then a curve to that, to show that those are connected. So once this one is on, that one will be connected directly to that as well. Now, the only other thing I need to do is put in a couple receptacles. In bathrooms, there's not typically very many. So I'm going to do my receptacles in red because my switches also were in red. So that's just what I'm going to choose to do. And receptacles are going to have a little circle. So I'm going to want to have a receptacle here on this over this countertop, and then maybe one on this side. So if you have like a curling iron or a hair dryer or an electric shaver or something, it's pretty much all you're going to need for electrical outlets in a bathroom. We don't really need a lot. So I'm going to put my little circle here. I'm going to put a, whoops, and I wanted that to be in red. So let me undo that, change that color to red. Put the circle there, put a circle here. I don't want to move it now, because if I click the select button, and I click on this thing and I accidentally hit that little blue circle, you can see it enlarges a lot. So I'm going to undo that. I'm just going to leave it where it is. If I didn't like the position, you could always just click on it once, and then as long as your mouse kind of stays in the same place, you can click delete, and that will remove it. But I do want it there. And now I'm going to go to my drawing, and I'm just going to put in a couple red lines just to show that that is a receptacle. And that was the key. In my electrical systems key, it shows that the two straight lines through a circle is a duplex outlet or duplex receptacle. And so I'm just about finished. The last thing I need to do is I need to declare that this is a GFCI. GFCI, again, is what you would have if you have a receptacle anywhere near water. You need to have it as a GFCI. And what we could do as an electrician is we could make this the GFCI, and then we could connect this receptacle to this one, so that if any water gets in any of these receptacles, while it travels all the way back to the main panel, it will trip this and turn it off. So you only really need one of them in a bathroom. So let me go into my text, and I'm going to leave this as a red text, and I'm just going to put here GFCI, and we're just going to leave that as is. So that is a basic electrical plan for my master or my full bathroom. So you could choose to do whichever one that you want of those four options. And when you're done, you're going to need to screenshot this. So depends on what computer you have. Everyone has different screenshot options. If you have a Chromebook, you may need to Google what that looks like. For me, I can do a little snippet tool, and I'm just going to screenshot actually this portion right here. And once that is screenshot, I go back to my assignment, and it says I get to delete this image right here. So I'm going to click on this one. I'm going to hit the backspace or delete key, and then I'm going to Control V to paste in that screenshot that I made. So this will, and let me center this there. This will show me the work that you did in your particular area. Now, if you wanted to include a three-way switch, then of course you need to add a little 3 next to this, S3. You could do it as a subscript if you want to really get technical on that. And then you're going to have another switch that might be over here that is also a three-way switch. In a bathroom, that really wouldn't be practical to do because we're not very far from the switches to begin with. So that's how you would sort of create those. If I do want to delete things, you can see I was undoing. I can hover over this. It actually knows this is an entire dashed line together. So I can hover that and I can click delete, and it will get rid of the whole thing. So once you have your final screenshot attached into this assignment and you have answered these 3 questions, then you can feel free to share it with me. I've even put those instructions on here twice. Just click share in the top right corner and send me that email, and we are good to go for this assignment.